Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the second part of the tunnel engineering. Okay. So in the second part of the tunnel engineering, we will be studying the transferring the alignment inside the tunnel. Okay. Muking. So the what is the muking process? Concepts of shafts, objects of tunnel lining, and what type of tunnel lining is being provided. Next is the ventilation and drainage in tunnel. Ventilation and drainage in tunnel. These are the few points, few terms to be explained in this session. So the first one is the transferring alignment inside the tunnel. So what is happening is here is the center line of the tunnel is been marked on the ground. Okay, so that has to be transferred within the tunnel. Okay, in the tunnel itself. So how to transfer the center line uh, from the above ground surface to the inside a tunnel? That has to be uh, how this is done. We will be understanding here. Okay, this operation of transferring the center line inside the tunnel is very much important because the entire alignment and entire tunnel directions is dependent on this alignment itself. If there is some minute error also, there might not be the proper alignment what we want. Okay, so it must be done carefully. The work needs uttermost care and accuracy in execution, and it does not carefully done, then the center lines worked from the opposite sides will not meet. Okay, when you're starting the tunnel excavation from the two sides, and they have to meet at a center point, right? And the dimensions and the sections of those tunnel sections should be same and match to each other. If they alignment is changed and they may not meet at the same position as they are to be met. Okay, thus the deviation in the center line will cause the breaking results in addition to the expenditure, and especially when tunneling is a hard rock. Because first of all, if you are doing the tunneling in the hard rock itself, the cost for the boring or cutting down the rock, such a hard rock, is a huge task and huge amount of money is being wasted. Over that, we or the engineer does the mistake in alignment, okay, itself, then the whole tunneling operations goes wrong. Now to start with transferring of center line alignment to the underground surface of the tunnel. So first thing what you have to see is that this is a ground surface, right? And there are markings done using pegs at equal intervals. Okay, these pegs are being driven at equal intervals, and the alignment is set off on the ground surface. Okay, once this is done, the shafts are being drilled. Okay, the shafts are or the vertical well openings are being provided so that we can transfer the center line into the tunnel. Okay, once the shaft is prepared, what we do is we with the help of the pulley at the end of the shaft, we will just bring down the wire with a plumb bob attached to the at the lower end. Okay, we will allow to free flow it. Okay, we'll free fall it from the top, and it will be restrained at the pulley point. So on the both the sides of the shaft as shown in the figure, you can just look at the wires, okay, as they are being brought down into the tunnel. Okay, because the length or the distance between the top of the shaft to the bottom of the shaft tunnel is huge. Okay, due to this plumb bob with wires might vibrate or oscillate. Okay, might vibrate at very higher frequency because of the disturbances, right? So to reduce that oscillation and to bring the wire and the plumb bob stagnant, to bring at one place, what we are going to do is we are going to immerse that plumb bob into the oil bucket of oil. We are going to take and we are going to immerse that plumb bob in that, so that the vibrations are reduced. Okay, once the both the wires are brought into one line, okay, because they are placed on the center line itself. Okay, the center line which is marked on the ground surface, on that line only it is been placed, and the line which is been brought down with the help of the wires in the plumb bob, it is showing the center line of the alignment. Okay, that is been brought down here. Once they are brought, they try to oscillate at a higher frequency. So to reduce that oscillation, what we are going to do is we are going to provide a bucket of oil so that it absorbs the vibrations and reduces the shocks. Once these two wires are in one line, then 7 meters away, understand, 7 meters away from the wire, we are going to place a theodolite. Okay, and we are going to intersect both the wires in a straight line. Okay, we are just going to intersect both the wires because these are being placed on the center lines and that are being dropped inside. So we are going to add 7 meters away from the wire, we are going to place the theodolite and we are going to extend that line so that we will get the center line of the curve, the center line of the tunnel alignment. And then once we get this bisect the both the wires in a straight line, we raise the telescope of the theodolite and we bisect at a point like this, okay, at the top, making an angle, and that point we mark the peg, okay, and to that plumb bob has been suspended. So for a reference, if we if we want the reference of the center line of the alignment, we have to just intersect the hanged or the oscillating the hanged plumb bob, and we don't require to carry out the same procedure again and again. With the help of this, we mark the plumb bob and we drop down the plumb bob into the air. That will be the center line of the tunnel for that portion of the tunnel. Okay, this is how we transfer the center line alignment. Okay, so this is what is the shaft looks like, right? So what we do is we mark on the ground surface like this. At equal intervals, the marking is done on the ground surface itself. So once the marking is done, depending upon the requirement and depending upon the lengths, the shafts are provided. Okay, see, the center line is marked, right? The center line is marked. And once the center line marks, then as per the requirements, we are going to draw the shafts into it. Okay, Then we are going to drop down the suspend the plumb bob with a wire from the center line itself, and from the end edge point of the center line on the shafts. To that point we are going to suspend it down. To avoid this isolation, what we are going to do, we are going to immerse it into the oil bucket, and 7 meters away from the wire we are going to place the theodolite and bisect the two wires as a straight line. Okay, that extension of that line will bring us the center line of the alignment, right? So now that line is extended. Can you see the red color line? Now once the theodolite, we have extended that same line. That is what how the transfer of alignment is done. This is what the procedure what I have told, I explained. That is the procedure here. You can go through it, right? Now shafts. What is shaft? As I told in the first slide itself, that the openings, vertical openings provided over the tunnels. Okay, that opening is called as shafts. So why these are provided? These are provided for the during the construction, and this is useful after the construction also. During the construction, for the setting up of center line alignment into the tunnel, and also remove the debris. To remove the debris, some outlet points are required, because the end and the start point might be at a longer distance. We can't get the debris and the waste from the end and the start point every time, right? For that purposes we have to have a shaft from where we can remove the debris from it there. And another thing is natural ventilation for the workers. When the workers are working in the tunnels, the main problem is the ventilation of the area. There is no proper ventilations provided, so these vertical shafts will act as a ventilator for them, for the removing the poisonous and smoke gases, and give them a proper good air to breathe, right? The same thing I have tried to show here, right? The yellow color marking shows us the shafts, right? Here also, in second diagram, the vertical direction is showing the shaft, and the horizontal direction shows the connection of tunnels from one point to the another point. There are branch of tunnels from one where it is bisecting this side and then this side. It is branched into two tunnels here. That can also happen, right? Shaft is a vertical tunnel or the well or a passage reaching from the ground surface down to the inert of the tunnel. Inert means what? The inside surface of the tunnel, this part. Okay, that is called inert, the inner surface of the tunnel. They afford manageably advantages and are used in the constructing tunnels when the position and the course of the tunnel is correctly aligned and accordingly set off on the surfaces, right? The classification of tunnel shafts, depending upon its position and the shape, these shafts are classified. First is the vertical shaft, which is in vertical direction, inclined shafts, which are in the inclined directions, the permanent shafts, okay, shafts which are being provided during the construction, and after the construction also it is kept. Okay, it is not been filled up and it is not been closed. Next is the temporary shafts. Temporary shafts are only for certain durations. These shafts are being opened up, okay, and then again these shafts are closed after the work is over. Okay. Now next is, what is mucking? The mucking is nothing but the process of removing the debris and the waste rock materials, okay, from the tunnel to the outside of the tunnel, from inside of the tunnel to the outside of the tunnel. That process of taking out of the soil debris or the rock debris is called as mucking. The process by which we are removing it is called as mucking. Okay. In the first image, right, if I show this image, if you see, you can see the debris here, that the rocks are being blasted and excavated off for the tunnel excavations. Okay, and in the second image, you can see a bulldozer is trying to remove those debris to clear the tunnel itself. So the removal of the soil debris from the tunnels and take it outside of the tunnel is called as mucking. Okay. Removal of the blasted debris and the spoils from the tunnel interior to the site outside the tunnel entrance is called as mucking. Right. In the big tunnels conductions, this is reckoned as a major item of expenditure and efficient quick removal of mucking nuisance for working cost. If you don't remove this mucking, soil debris, this will hinder the working operations, right? This will hinder your working operations, and in the long tunnels, this will cause you the major expenditure item. Okay, most of the expenditure will happen on this case, because as the length increases, the transporting charges of this mucking from the inside to the outside of the tunnels goes on increasing. Next is tunnel lining. As I showed in the previous first presentation, what is lining? The covering which is provided on the interior surface of the tunnel so that it protects us from the soil debris to fall during the serviceability conditions, and also to provide us support, okay, to provide us support and to resist the external pressures. Another thing is to give a shape to the canal and have pleasant appearance. Right? Lining is an operations of providing an impervious layer of a given shape to the tunnel cross section and to give strength to the sides and roofs to prevent from collapsing. During the service, if you are not provided the lining, if you are going through a car and suddenly the tunnel roof surface starts collapsing, it is dangerous, right? So to protect it from that and to protect the side surfaces, tunnel lining is important, and also to give the shape to it. So most of the times we go for the RCC lining. Okay, that is the best way of lining, best type of lining. If the tunnel is subjected to internal and external or heavy ground pressure, the provisions of lining will result in increase in the strength of the tunnel cross section. Okay. Next is ventilation of the tunnel. Tunnel ventilation is the provision of sufficient quantity of air into the tunnel so that the workmen do not feel discomfortable while working in the tunnel itself. what is the provisions of sufficient air into the in the natural way into the tunnels, that is called as ventilations. There are two types of ventilations, that is natural ventilations and the another one is mechanical ventilations. The ventilations to bring down the rise in temperature inside the tunnel. Methods of ventilation, right? First one is natural method, second one is mechanical method. In the natural method, fresh ventilation for the workers in the tunnels is provided by driving the portals. There might be a large number of portals. There might be 3-4 portals available. Depending upon the length of the tunnel, the portals are nothing but the shafts. Okay, the open shafts which have been provided for the ventilation purposes, so that the fresh air can come inside and the debris, dust particles and the gases during the explosive works that has been carried out, for that purposes that should be escaped out. For that purpose the ventilation is necessary. Natural ventilation can improve by providing the shafts for the suitable interval along the alignment of the tunnel. What I said, the portals are nothing but the shafts. Mechanical method. In the mechanical method, there are three types. One is blower, one is extractor, and it is a combination of exhauster and blower. In blowing, in this method, using the mechanical blowers, you are going to blow the air into the tunnel. We are trying to blow the fresh air into the tunnel. In this method, what happens is, when you are trying to blow the air inside the tunnel, it takes long time to reach the inside of the tunnel. The time required to air to reach fresh air to reach the inside the tunnel is a larger period. Okay, and you are trying to force the pressure out of the false air also here. This is a small disadvantage of the blower, is that it takes larger time to provide a fresh air. Next is exhausting. It is as like a vacuum cleaner or vacuum process, where going to suck or going to extract the fall gases from the one side, due to which there is a low pressure area. Okay, so from the other end, where there is a high pressure, the air will try to enter from the other side. We are trying to blow the or extract or pump out the foul gases, due to which there is a low pressure, and due to that the fresh air tries to come inside. In this process, it is a little bit faster. The fresh air enters at a faster rate. Right. Next is the combination. The combination. In this method, the blower and exhaust fans are provided for providing the fresh air into the tunnels and sucking out of the air from the respective tunnels. So, as we go to the diagram, okay, this is your main tunnel, and these are the portals that are being provided for the ventilation purposes, 1 and 2. So in the first one, it is the exhauster, right? It is the whatever the air that is there, it is trying to remove out of the tunnel, okay, through the help of exhaust fans, and it is taken out of the tunnel, right? In the other part, in the same tunnel, it is the combination, right? So once we remove the air with the help of the other, once we remove the air, we are going to close the one wall, okay, and open the other side wall here. In the first case it was closed, now it is opened here. Now we are going to blow the fresh air into the tunnel itself. Okay, this is how it works. First we extract the foul gases. Okay, once we have extracted all the foul gases and throw it out from the tunnel, we blow the fresh air into the tunnel. Okay, when these two combinedly work together coordinatingly, it is called as the combination of blowing and exhausting. Next is the drainage. There are two types of drainage that we are going to see in the tunnels. That is, during the construction works, because we are going to underground, we are going to drill a hole, there might be chances that the water in the underground surfaces might try to trickle down into the tunnel itself, right, and start accumulating in the tunnel. So during the construction, this is a drainage problem. So in this case, what we do, we don't have the drains here, right, because we are in the construction stage. So what we try to do is, we try to pump out the water with the help of the pipes. We put the pipe into the water storage, and we try to remove the water from the tunnel and throw it outside the tunnel. Okay, this is during the construction. Once the construction is completed, during the service period, we are going to provide a central drainage system or a side drainage system, how it is provided in the case of the roads, right? Same way we are going to provide the surface drainage systems, where we might be providing some holes in between, so that the sections of the drains should not increase, so that from where the water gets accumulated, and from there the water is being pumped outside the tunnel. If the length is more, this might be used. We might provide at certain distances, slump wells might be provided, where the water gets accumulated due to the longitudinal and lateral slopes on the roads. Okay, so once it is collected, it has been taken out to the pumps. If the distance is small, then it might be directly taken out to the outside drainage facilities, right? Art of collection and removal of the water entering the tunnel during and after the construction is known as drainage of tunnel, right? Generally, at the time of construction, the water which is used for drilling the hole and through the seepage is removed by the pumps, right? After the completion of the tunnel, water is taken out with means of open drains, which is collected at the center or the both the sides of the tunnel by the gravitational force, that is due to the slope, right? This are the two types of drainage facilities at phases where the drainage is going to be, surface drainage is going to be provided. It is at the center or at the sides of the road or the railways, right? This is all about the alignment of the tunnel, shafts, muking, concrete alignment, concrete lining of the tunnels, and the ventilations, and last is the drainage of the tunnel.